All right. Hello, pet parents. Once again, this is Soumya from PetFed India, your host for today. And as promised, today we are here with Radhiya Hemachandra, a certified international master groomer and founder of Fuzzy Wuzzy. Hi, Radhiya.
Hi.
Okay, so today we will try to delve into the entire universe of pet grooming as much as we can, and specifically, we'll be delving into the topic of how to choose the right groomer for our pets. So, people who are joining us now, people who are watching us, please feel free to drop in any queries that you have regarding your pet's grooming, and especially regarding the fact or that any doubts that you have in choosing the right kind of groomer for your pet. And Radhya and we will definitely answer it for you here. So, talking more about you, Radhya, Radhya Hemachandra is the founder of Fuzzy Wuzzy, India's premier pet styling studio and spa, and also a professional pet grooming school, and Funky Fur's exclusive pet grooming products and pet boutique. She's an all breed certified international master groomer and was the first Indian to participate in an international grooming competition held in the USA. Radha is also a pet psychologist, canine communicator, environmental conversationist, and pet educationist, as well as an avid animal lover. So, Radha, that sounds like a completely, interesting and diverse portfolio, and very impressive. And it says that you've
Yeah.
groomed over 7,000 pets in all these years of experience with grooming that you have. So, can
Yeah.
you tell us like something interesting about this entire experience, and can you tell us your entire journey from simply being an avid animal lover to actually deciding to take up grooming, pet grooming as a profession?
Okay. So actually, as you know, my mom is an all breeds judge, so she's been into this field of dogs and dog showing for the last 35 years. So it was only natural for us to pick up this love for, pets. And I used to love fashion and dressing up my dogs. So every time my mom would see me, she would be like, "You need to do something with dogs, but I don't know what you're gonna do yet." So I was like, okay, fine. So I used to watch her groom dogs, and earlier grooming wasn't really very famous because it was predominantly for show dogs. So I would assist her, and then every time I come back from school, she would be like, I'm gonna give you a little treat if you help me. So I used to pretty much help her out like that, and I kept learning, and then eventually, although I did my fashion designing and I was a DJ and all of that, at the end of the day, I ended up with the dogs. So I decided then to take up what I'm good at, and I was able to assess dogs. And like I said, we are always surrounded by pets on our farm. So we have 110 of our own dogs, 40 cats, birds, ducks, all of the above. So it was only natural for me to step into this. Yeah,
Okay,
so this is pretty
great.
much how I started.
That's nice. That's
Mhm.
really so. She also actually lured you into this by giving you treats. That's kind of
Yeah,
ironic.
pretty much, She said if you want to do something, you got to make a difference. So yeah, I said I would take this up seriously, and I did. I did. I took this up seriously, and I took it up. I guess there's some problem with the internet. Hello. Yeah, Radhya, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So, Radhya, I'll just connect with I'll connect the camera meanwhile. But, first things first, I would like you to tell us, what is the major difference in grooming our pets at home by our own selves or, grooming them in a pet salon. And just like us humans, we do the basics at home, but we generally opt for the salon, when it comes to haircuts and anything which is slightly more technical. So, should we be following the
Mhm.
same approach for our pets, or what should we do about this?
Okay, so as you know, like grooming your pets at home, it is beneficial and it does create the bond between the owner and the pet. But sometimes not all owners know exactly how to, to groom the dog in the right manner. It depends on the kind of dog you have and what needs to be done for that particular kind of dog. So it's always best to take your dog to a professional because they will be adept in the methods of how to handle your dog the right way and how to make grooming an experience for it to enjoy, for your pet to enjoy, so that they would be more cooperative when you decide to groom them or brush them at home. So, yeah, I would recommend you always take your dog to a groomer. However, once in a while, it's also kind of nice to treat your pet a little extra and pamper your pet at home too.
Okay, that's nice. So, sorry for the slight inconvenience at my end. There was
That's
a bit of a
okay.
technical glitch. So, okay, so that's nice. Okay, moving on.
Mhm,
So we have like a few, so everybody who's joining us now, please
mhm,
know that we're talking about how to choose the right pet groomer for your pets, and anything and everything that you have in terms of queries regarding pet grooming is something that you can drop in the comment section below, and Radhya will answer it for you. So moving before we move on to the audience comments, can you tell us what does pet grooming involve in general? Like, so we know that, okay, brushing and trimming the hair is something that is common, commonly known for pet grooming, but I feel like there is a lot more than to grooming than it is just brushing and trimming of hair, which is like basically eye and ear cleaning and shampooing and a lot of other things. So according to you, how would you consider a pet to be completely well groomed? Like, what are all the procedures that come under being the most well groomed when it comes to a pet?
okay. So what many people forget is that a pet needs to be observed as an individual and not as a generic kind of species. So basically, when you get a dog, not all dogs will need the grooming. I mean, not all will need trimming and stripping or ear hair plucking or all of the above. But unfortunately, everybody categorizes grooming as one simple thing. Yes, grooming means to keep your pet neat and tidy. But every dog has its own requirement, right? So apart from the ear cleaning, nail clipping, teeth brushing, if it's required, you need to check the skin and make sure that the product you're using is not going to affect the dog's skin in any way. And also about the trimming, there are people who trim Labradors, and as you know, it is not allowed because that is against the nature of the breed. So, by doing so, you're actually creating more problems for that particular breed. And this is not just to one breed, this is to many breeds. We have 218 breeds, and it's really hard for a person to go through all of them. So, the best would be for the owner to know what breed they have, and the groomer that they go to should also have the experience and knowledge of these kind of breeds and should know the right method of grooming, right? So this
Right.
is basically what they need to look out for.
Okay, and like
Hmm.
apart from that, like talking about uh, what the topic exactly is, so
Hmm.
choosing the right kind of a pet groomer for a pet, it's a big deal. Considering that how these days we have a lot of options, whether it's ranging from pet grooming vanity vans, or like the pet salons, one of them which you also own. So, and to even to individual groomers. So what are the things that a pet parent should look for when they finally decide that this is the right groomer for my pet? What are these things that they should consider?
Okay. So I know it's really hard for every pet parent to go through like everyone's bio individually and check it out. But what they can try to assess from before going into a groomer is they need to know if that groomer is aware of the right grooming methods, which is have they had experience with pets personally on a personal level? Is it their hobby? Is it their passion? Or is it just another form of business? Because whenever it comes to just a form of business, if you notice, they'll give you timelines that they complete their dog grooming in. The owner may not be present at the time the dog is being groomed. Their knowledge of different breeds, identification, and understanding the texture of their coat is very limited, right? So, what they need to understand is that when they're choosing a groomer, firstly, the dog or the pet will react to them in a very positive way. It is possible once in a while that a pet is a little nervous because they've been exposed to different groomers
Right.
who may not have had the right experience of handling. So the pets would obviously be afraid to enter, but give your dog some time or your pet some time to get along with the groomer and see if they are taking it in a positive way. If they're shying away, they're not comfortable. If they're okay and they're settled down, then it's okay. So first thing is like, I mean, this is not the first thing, it's the many things, but
Yeah.
anyway, so, experience with pets personally from the groomer who's doing the grooming, experience in the field of grooming, the amount of years added to their knowledge, because that really matters. The more they handle pets, the more they're aware of how to. Then the education in the field, they have to be educated in the right methods and ethics of grooming. It's not just a bath and wash, it's not something you can hire a laborer to do. Like I mentioned earlier, the owner has to be present because the owner has to know what's going on with the client's dog. They can't just allow their workers to take on. That's important. Is the salon too crowded? Is there too many dogs waiting for grooming? Because then they're not going to be able to dedicate enough time for your particular dog. Are they hygienic, or does it all just smell doggy doggy and every
Right.
other odor that you can think of?
Right.
And like I said, the groomer also has to have an awareness of the breed type. So, like I
Okay.
told you earlier, the 218 breeds. You
Mhm.
can think you have a Shih Tzu because a lot of owners are sold a dog,
Yeah.
stating what they are, but sometimes they're not. So the you can say, I want my Shih Tzu to be groomed, but there will be a particular method to do a Shih Tzu. And
Right.
some groomers will just go and chop the hair off, but then you're supposed to know what needs to be done for that breed. So yeah, they have to do their research before they can do
Right.
anything, a little bit at least.
Okay, so talking about some specific breeds here, we know that there are
Hmm.
few common breeds, especially in India.
Yeah.
So let's first take up an Indie,
Okay.
an Indie, a Shih Tzu, a Labrador, a Golden Retriever. So and as and when we'll get more questions regarding breeds, but at least these four breeds, when it comes to
Hmm.
their grooming, how
Yeah.
frequently should we be grooming these particular breeds, what should the frequency be, and if the basic grooming can be done at home, or do we need to always go to the groomer, so specifically to these breeds, so that people who are joining us can have some idea about that.
Okay. So for the common breeds that are available now, well, let's keep Shih Tzus apart because they are a little high maintenance breed. Okay. So
Okay.
apart from the Shih Tzus, the rest of the dogs, yes, they just need. I mean, they need the grooming once a month. All dogs need it just once a month or once in 21 days because the
Okay.
oil cycle in their system regenerates every 21 days. So
Okay.
it's very important and essential for the dog to allow the oils to first come back into the coat so that
Okay.
everything comes back to stability, their pH levels stabilize, and then you start grooming them again. And by grooming, I
Okay.
mean through the entire bath and wash. Okay.
Right.
The
Right.
brushing can be done like once in 2 days or so. It doesn't need to be done like every day because if you do it
Okay.
every day, then your dog's probably going to lose all its hair. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, because you're loosening the hair follicles as you keep brushing because you don't know how much of pressure you're putting on. So, although that might seem like the best thing or the ideal thing to do, preferred
Right.
if you do it in a little bit of a space. Now, for the Shih Tzus, that's tricky because
Yeah.
Shih Tzus actually need the grooming only once a month again. And they're predominantly indoor dogs, okay? So they can,
Right.
I mean, if you maintain them well, they can go on that entire month being as clean as ever. But as you know, Shih Tzus think they're mops, that they're floor mops. So
Oh, really?
they typically they
Right.
typically roll on the floor like I don't know, 24/7. So it's pretty much the moment they're out of the groomer, they're pretty much in 20 minutes back to where they started. Okay?
Right.
So for
Right.
those kind of breeds, you might have to pay a little more attention to make sure that they're brushed well, at least 5 or 10 minutes a day. You don't have to do the entire 1 hour, the entire 1 hour thing. And make sure that their hair is away from the face. So a lot of people
Okay.
keep cutting the hair. You're not supposed to do
Right.
that for the breed. They're supposed to guide the hair in the particular direction so that their eyes are protected. Cutting the hair makes it worse, actually.
Okay.
So they can end up having, cornea damage and blindness. So
Okay.
yeah, those are the things. So typically, all dogs just once a month, if
Just
you
once
know,
a month. And even
just once
brushing
a
for
month.
that matter, you said that not every day, which is,
Not every
you know,
day.
okay, okay. So people who are listening to us, once in 2 days for brushing of dogs is fine.
More than enough because you don't want to aggravate their skin condition because you don't know what right tool you're using, correct? So you might
Right.
want to give that a break so that they get used to it.
Right, right. Okay. So, let's go on to the fact that when we actually choose a groomer. So, my pet
Mhm.
cries a lot, especially when the groomers are either, cleaning her ears or, especially when the blow drying machine starts. So, that is the time when she starts whining like anything. And I'm sure that a lot of people who are listening to us right now will relate to this particular problem. So, but because, after bathing and especially after grooming, I believe that blow drying is necessary because otherwise they catch cold or fever and everything. So, but is it safe for them? Is blow drying safe for them? And if in case they are, like scared of that sound, what are the other alternatives that one can use to dry them off, if not a blow dryer?
Okay. So coming to the fact, the pets, whining about the ears when they're getting cleaned. That happens a lot because when the cleaning is done improperly, a lot of people probe into the ear canal a lot, which damages their ear or causes scratches inside. So what happens? Dog associates every ear cleaning to the pain that they felt from that first experience. So when anyone, even if it's a good groomer who decides to, attend to the dog, all they associate that trauma, that memory is of being or feeling pain at that time. Okay,
Right, right.
so that's the ear part of it. Now the blow drying, unfortunately, yes, it is a key ingredient in grooming. You must blow dry your dog so your dog stays away from getting bacterial infection, fungal infection. There is no substitute to that because towel drying can only take off that much moisture, but it'll still allow the roots to be wet. And sun drying will only allow the surface water to get absorbed. So again, the inside coat of your dog will stay saturated, which won't allow their coat to have enough of what do I say? There won't be enough airflow in their coat, and they won't be able to regulate their body temperature so properly. So this is why blow drying is important. Now the reason it goes wrong is because firstly people try to blow dry their dog with a home blow dryer. Okay,
Right,
so home blow dryers make a lot of noise and
right,
they're not very powerful. And
right.
usually people forget when they blow drying, they straight go to the face, straight to the face. So when
Okay.
the puppy is young or when the dog is young, they get a little, sprung back because they're thinking, what's this in my face? And the air is going up my nose and my mouth and my ears and my eyes, and I'm feeling uncomfortable. So that's why they start retaliating when it comes to blow drying. Okay.
Right,
There
right.
is a right way to do it. There is a right way, and a groomer will be taught in the right method of how to do it so that the dog is comfortable or the pet is comfortable. Okay.
Okay.
And the blow dryers that are given to groomers are slightly more silent. They have the heat variation so you can control it. And you don't necessarily have to have a cold blow dryer because, again, if you use a cold blow dryer on a puppy, it's still going to fall sick,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So, like I said, a proper groomer would have been trained with the right equipment to do the right thing in the right fashion. I know owners love their pets and they want to express it, but some things, at least for the first couple of times till they get the right guidance, they need to follow a groomer or at least an expert who knows what they're talking about.
Right,
Yeah, so that
right, right.
answers your question.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Mhm.
So, people who are listening to us, if you have this specific problem, make sure that you have the blow dryers that are made specifically for pets. And that is why,
Yeah.
we should also choose a groomer in that manner itself. We'll
Mhm.
take up a question from Mena. She says, are they qualified? So, one very constant worry of pet parents, are they qualified enough to handle pets for grooming? The groomers.
Are the groomers qualified enough? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into any bad books right now. But yeah, well, let's put it this way. A well certified, well experienced person in the same field who has
Mhm.
handled enough of pets should be able to do a good job while handling new pets for grooming. Okay. And when I mean this, I mean someone who has got enough knowledge in the kind of pets that they're handling. Let it be a hamster, a rabbit, a cat, or a dog. Okay, so they need to have some qualification or at least enough experience. When I talk about experience, I mean at least 10 years experience. That is the
Right.
minimum because it's a long learning process and every pet is different from the other, even if they're the same breed. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, and a lot of people call themselves groomers, but unfortunately they aren't. And
Yes.
that creates a big problem. It's a big problem.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So we should definitely check for like how do we tackle that, because a lot of times maybe somebody who owns the brand or somebody who's there who's the head is a groomer certified one, but the helpers who
Mhm.
sometimes fill in are not. So like how do we tackle that particular situation?
Yeah. So I mean, like if the person or the company is a responsible company, the pet parent can make a request for the groomer, the head groomer, or the main groomer, or the owner to do the grooming personally. Okay. Given yes, it might be an additional amount, but if they're not certain, it's better to pay and make sure that your pet is safer,
Right.
right? Or don't take the dogs to a grooming parlor where there are too many helpers. I'm not
Right.
saying the helpers are bad. I'm just saying that
Yeah,
they
of
may
course.
not be qualified and may not be able to respond to a dog's reaction quick enough than a trained
Right.
person who is
Right.
waiting to understand what a pet is going through. And it's not just handling that the owner should know about or the groomer should know about. They should be aware of the psychology, the behavior aspects of the pet, the basic canine behavior that that dog possesses. Like Rottweilers behave a certain way, Goldens behave a certain way. So they need to
Right.
analyze the pet individually. So yeah, that's important. Education in this is important with experience.
Right, right, makes
Mhm.
sense. So, people who are joining us now, we are discussing everything under the sun about pet grooming, and especially a particular topic regarding how to choose the right pet groomer, how to choose the right groomer for your pet. So, whatever doubts or queries that you have regarding your pet's grooming, please drop them in the comment section below, and Radhya is here to answer those. Before we move on to other audience comments, Radhya, can you tell us that like you said that for all the four breeds that I had asked in the start, otherwise in general, what are the different grooming requirements in different dog breeds, whether it's a short haired dog breed or whether it's a long haired breed, and does the requirement of grooming change according to the length of the hair, or how does it change?
Okay. So every breed has its own requirement for grooming. And yes, the length matters a lot because the amount of dust or debris collecting on the coat it varies in different breeds. So let's say a smooth coated dog like your Labrador Doberman, when they're exposed to dust outside, there's very little settlement, and a soft brush would do to just dust it off. But at the same hand, if you were to take a Golden Retriever, let's say outside for a walk, you'll notice the twigs sticking on their coat and the dust and all of that. So when they need a brushing, because if they don't get brushed, they're going to start smelling and their coat is going to tangle. And at the same time, if you let a Shih Tzu go out, don't ask what's going to happen because they're probably going to come back brown.
Right.
So this is what, yes, so they will obviously need a lot more care and concern. And considering they're predominantly indoor dogs, people still take them on walk, but they don't know how to put them in the right place. So they take them on a walk in a garden, but with all that hair, they don't know what they're picking up in the garden. So it's preferred to walk them on like sand or like a pavement, you know?
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
everything differs according to the breed and of course according to our weather conditions as well.
So can you just like name a few common breeds that you have seen in your professional career in India, and can you tell
Mhm.
us their grooming requirements? And starting with Indies, because they are a
Okay.
common breed in India itself.
Okay. Okay. So for the Indian dog, luckily they're so smart and they know
Yeah.
how to manage well. So they pretty much aren't very dirty. They do keep themselves clean, and if you notice, they even do lick themselves sometimes, even though it is not a generic cleaning method for a pet for a dog. They do happen to clean themselves if they feel a little dirty. All right. So typically for the Indian dog would be a regular bath, ear cleaning, nail clipping. Teeth brushing is not important because they do chew a lot. So that should keep the tartar away. However, if you go and probe them into doing the teeth brushing, that could damage the gums and then the dog would obviously react in a bad way. So them it's very simple. So that's your Indian dogs and let's say the smooth coated dog side, okay? Now we're going on to the long coated dog, which is your golden retriever, Siberian husky, Saint Bernard. I'm just giving
Hmm.
you the rough coated dogs
Yeah.
breeds, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, them, because of their size and because of their activity, Saint Bernard may not get so dirty at home, but they have a lot of drooling. Okay,
Right.
so that section would need to be cleaned and dried often. At the same time, the golden retriever is very active, so it'll be out in your garden doing I don't know what, digging I don't know where, and you would need to brush them and keep them clean. I don't mean wash them or anything. I just mean brush them to keep them as dry as you can. Okay, and that works a lot. The moment this coat is saturated with any kind of wetness or moisture, that's when the problems settle in. Okay, and then let's take the fox terrier. It's not very common, a wirehead fox terrier, let's say wirehead breeds. Now they need something called coat stripping to be done, which is the pulling off of their spiral coat, which is their corded
Okay.
coat. So that
Okay.
that needs to be done again with the professional. And
Right.
the dog can go 6 months without it being done, but the day the groomer gets the dog for the grooming, it's going to be really hard. So it'll
Right.
probably have to be done in 2 sessions. And
Right.
dogs like silky terriers and Shih Tzus and Maltese, yes, they are the little pampered ones, so they, of course, need a little extra brushing and grooming. Their eyes need to be cleaned very often because they have a lot of tearing problems. And
Okay.
yeah, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes. Your video
Okay.
is a bit stuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's back
So
now.
yeah, with silky terriers and like I mentioned, Shih Tzus and all of that, they
Mhm.
need to keep their underpads clean. They need to keep their paws clean. They need to keep their ears clean. They need to keep their ears
Okay, so there is a bit of an internet connectivity issue from Radha's side, but people who have joined us, she'll be back in just a few seconds, so bear with us. We are here, we're discussing about how to choose the right pet groomer and how to anything that you want to get your queries answered regarding pet grooming and how to choose the right kind of pet groomer. And please drop in your queries in the comment section. And Radhya here, who is a certified international master groomer, is going to answer them for you. She will be back in a bit. She's facing a few internet connectivity issues and she will be back. But recapping what she said till now is that grooming your pet at a salon or grooming a pet with a professional groomer is highly advisable. Yes, the normal basic brushing and the basic grooming that you can do at home, the bathing and brushing is fine. But apart from that, hi Radhya, back. So I was just recapping the session for people who had joined in about how the basic grooming and everything can be done at home, but at the end of the day, the haircuts, the hair trimming, and the advanced grooming needs to be done by a professional groomer. And how even when it comes to brushing, it should be done like not every day. Instead, it should be done just like once in 2 days for the pets, and even professional grooming once a month for every breed is fine, unless obviously there are some specific requirements. So we were talking about the different grooming requirements according to the breeds. So you were talking about the Shih Tzus and the other breeds. So can you
Yeah.
continue?
So I hope you caught that. So like I said, did you catch the Shih Tzus
Can
and
you
the
repeat
Maltese
that?
and everything?
Can you repeat that to?
Yeah, sure, sure. So, like I was mentioning, with the Shih Tzus, Maltese, Silky Terriers, Yorkshire Terriers, they have very nice long coat, flowing coat. So you might have to pamper them a little extra by brushing them a little extra. You might have to clean their eyes a little more often because they have tearing problems, and
Mhm.
keep their backsides clean and their underpaws clean because they have tearing problems. Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to a few audience questions here. So,
Yeah.
Ashna asks, what kind of grooming routine will you suggest for a pure Pomeranian? Do they need hair trimming during summer? And she also adds
Okay.
that her Pomeranian doesn't like
All
that
right.
they brush
So,
him. So,
uh,
yeah. So she also adds that her Pomeranian doesn't like it when she brushes him. So how can
okay.
she make it a good experience at home?
Okay. Okay. So yeah, coming to the first question is the Pomeranian. Yeah, you can have your coat of the Pomeranian trimmed because they have a standoff coat, so it doesn't cause any damage provided it's done after 8 months of age. All right. You can keep them light so that they don't get weighed down, and they'll be able to, regulate their body temperature easily because of the length of the coat. However, it's not recommended to go too short on them. Okay, because if you go too short, you're exposing their skin to the sun and the other calamities which will, affect their skin. Okay, and the trimming can probably be done like once in 2 months during the summer. So depends on how long our period of summer lasts. So once in 2 months should be good enough for the trimming aspect, but the grooming will still stick to once a month. That's the whole bath, the entire routine. And you mentioned something about she
Yes.
doesn't like brushing.
Yeah. So her
Okay,
Pomeranian doesn't like that
doesn't
she
like brushing.
brushes. So how can she?
So yeah, so that unfortunately is because whatever grooming tool they've used prior to this has either hurt her coat or, I mean, hurt her skin while they've been doing it, or it's being done in the wrong method. It's either too much hand pressure, or it's the wrong grooming tool for the size of the dog, or it's not it's been done too much, or it's basically just poked her in the wrong place.
Okay. So Radha is not here right now. I think there must have been some internet connectivity issue at her end. So we'll wait for her to come back. We are talking about uh, grooming and everything under the sun when it's. Hi Radhya.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I have no
That's
idea what's
fine.
happening. Okay.
Okay. So
So
yeah,
yeah,
let's get back to her
improper
question.
grooming.
Yeah.
Improper grooming. So how you make it a good experience for him at home is basically you ask a consultant or an expert or a groomer who is well trained what to recommend the right kind of brush for your size of dog and the texture of its coat, okay, or skin and the skin. So once it's the right tool, You can allow your dog to come to you and then
Mhm.
start brushing it gently, probably sitting on the floor or something, rather than making it like, a mission to complete. Okay.
Okay.
You'll need to start slowly because it takes a while for the dog to get over whatever traumatic problems it's had in the past. So it's probably going to take about 4 or 5 times for the dog to settle down before it understands that whatever you're doing is not harming it. So this
Okay.
is the right way to take it step by step to make this a good experience for him at home. And of course, you mustn't use any recommended brush on the face or near the genital area because those are sensitive areas. So
Okay.
any mistake in those areas can cause the dog to even snap.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
So
So this
even
is
like
it.
yeah, so even choosing the right kind of brush for something as simple as brushing is very important. Otherwise, it can hurt the dogs. Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Okay, so people who are joining us now, we are talking about how to choose the right pet groomer and everything under the sun regarding pet grooming. So if you have any queries, you can drop it in the comment section below. And Radhya here, a certified international master groomer, will be answering all the questions that you have. Ajay here asks, what's the best way to cut off black color nails? I usually use the camera flashlight to see through, but that's not always useful.
Okay. Wow, smart boy trying smart things. But no, that's not the right way. So
Right.
yeah, so typically this goes down a little bit into a little more information. So typically every dog has a nerve ending situated in the center of the nail, which is
Mhm.
called the quick. Okay. Now, when somebody decides to cut the nail, for especially a black dog, it's not usually possible for you to see where the quick is. We can only make an analysis. There are tools now that are brought into the market that can actually do that, the x-raying kind of thing and then clip off the nails. But
Okay.
we don't do that. What
Mhm.
we do is we only see whatever is extra. So whenever you see something that's pointed on a black nail, I would recommend you only cut till where the point begins. Okay. So
Okay.
basically, if the nail is chipped under the nail will have some chip marks underneath the nail. So wherever it stops chipping, that's the right place to cut the nail, or you can leave about 2 from that section. But I wouldn't recommend they do this at home. I would rather he does this with the groomer because if it's done the wrong way, if it's not the right angle, it's possible for bleeding to occur, and that can also cause damage to the dog's movement permanently. It can also cause traumatic injuries to the dog's brain because the dog's going to feel that you're going to harm it every time you touch its nail. So it's
Okay.
not recommended to do at home.
So, nail cutting in general is not recommended to do at home, right? It should rather be done by a professional groomer.
At a professional, yes, they'll be able to assess where the quick is situated and do a proper bounce out on that rather than just taking a wild guess.
Okay, okay, all right. So,
Mhm.
people, viewers who are listening to us, please take your pets to a professional groomer, even for nail cutting, because otherwise you can hurt them psychologically also. Rohan asks, can you give us some tips on cleaning the ears?
Okay. So the first thing is again, um, you all are asking quite technical questions because it's not as simple as just cleaning the ears.
Right.
I'll just give you a basic guideline. So you just use an appropriate ear cleaner and you put this on a piece of cotton. It should not be too saturated because too much of the ear cleaner can cause ear problems too. So you use probably a couple of drops in a piece of cotton and you only clear the outside crevices and don't probe your finger more than a quarter inch deep of the ear canal. Okay? Anything deeper, any more probing can cause the ear canal to inflame. Okay? So
Can you
just
repeat
a
the last
basic
bit?
external cleaning as you call it, just the lather of the ear and the crevices should do.
Okay, okay. So not inserting the finger too much inside the ear also.
Yes, not probing inside the ear canal. Yes, it will cause damage to the dog's ear, and the dog will also retaliate aggressively.
Right. Okay. Alok here asks, what kind of grooming does a Great Dane puppy require?
Okay. So the Great Dane puppy, again, if it's under 3 months, I would recommend that they do it at home. If it's over 3 months, an appropriate dog grooming shampoos, I mean, a puppy shampoo would be required, a tearless one. They would
Mhm.
need to clear the ears lightly. They don't need to cut the nails again because they need to get that done professionally. And they can give this puppy a bath provided no water or shampoo enters the nose, the eyes, the ears, or the mouth of the pet. And of course, the drying has to be done with a blow dryer, which will again they again have to be very careful of the face area, not holding the blow dryer too close to the skin so it doesn't burn. And
Okay.
yeah, that's pretty much what the Great Dane requires, just a basic grooming in a month. And otherwise, best is to go to a groomer. Best.
Okay. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So, okay, that's great. So, there is Arvind who asks, please give us some tips to make our husky enjoy her bath time. And this in general, like, can you give us all pet parents a tip on how to, make our pets enjoy their bath time? Because
But
most of them just are, extremely scared of their bath time. So, how can we make it more enjoyable?
okay. So a couple of things is if you, I mean, knowing the right method is important. However, the basic way of doing it is one is to get good, good products which are probably hyperallergenic because that won't affect the coat in any way or the skin of the dog. So during the bath, doesn't become a painful process. The water that they use should be tepid. It shouldn't be cold or it shouldn't be hot. It shouldn't
Okay.
be anything that your elbow cannot handle. Okay, your
Right.
elbow, a human being's elbow should not be able to, and that's maximum heat it can handle. And while pouring water on your dog, a lot of people use the shower. Okay, although it looks really nice in a video and it looks really nice everywhere,
Right.
it's not really recommended because it sprays a
Oh,
lot of water into the eyes and ears and nose. So
okay.
basically, the water is going a little haywire unless it's like a shower that's got a head or a nozzle that's pointed in a particular direction. So
Okay.
you need to wet your dog properly from the neck down and keep the face for the last so that you can do that with your hands. Okay.
Right.
So basic bath time, give it to your dog or your pet a toy to play with, keep it distracted while you're bathing your dog. So that's
Right.
the one way that you can do it successfully without any screaming and yelping and trying to jump off. Now,
Right.
about making your husky enjoy bath time. Now, huskies are very naughty dogs. Okay,
Right.
although although they love water, they don't like staying wet. So most probably they're going to howl their head off while they're
Okay.
getting a shower. And
Okay.
so yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, if you could keep her busy or keep the dog busy while the bath's being done, it's more
Mhm.
likely that she'll be engaged in doing something else. So she'll keep her mind off the bath itself.
Okay.
Okay. So that's
Okay.
the one successful way of happening, making it happen.
Yeah, yeah, we should definitely try that out. Okay,
Yeah.
before we move on to more audience questions, people who are joining us now, we're talking about pet grooming and how to choose the right kind of pet groomer for our pets, and everything that we need a pet groomer for, or things that we can do at home. Now, like the basic bathing and all of that we can do at home. So, according to you, what are the basic grooming products? So things that we are getting from a groomer done is sorted for us because they're only using the products. But as a pet parent, I want to know what are the basic grooming products that I need to buy, like that I need to keep in my house definitely for my pets.
Okay. So that's really simple. You need just eye cleaning wipes.
Okay,
You need you can opt for ear cleaning wipes if you're not very comfortable with the ear cleaning liquid and the amount of
got it.
liquid you need to use on the ears. Yeah.
Right.
So you could use wipes for both. You need a nice hypoallergenic shampoo, which is either coat specific or a generic shampoo that works on all types of coats.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
preferably with the least amount of detergent base. Okay,
Right.
but having no soap base in your shampoo can also mean your dog is not going to get clean. Okay,
Okay.
so it has
Okay.
to have some amount of it. And yeah, and you need a wet and dry towel that's an absorbent towel because it reduces your drying time a lot. And it can be also used to cool your dogs off in the summer by pre-wetting it and putting it on your dog. So really
Okay.
beneficial.
Oh,
And
okay.
yes, if you're blow dry your dogs at home, which you will have to if you're bathing your dogs at home, you will have to
Yes.
buy a pet specific blow dryer. Okay,
Okay.
and you will need to learn how to use it or have some basic instruction on how to use it so that your dogs don't, get affected or not.
Yes.
They're not very unhappy.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so that's all. It's quite simple.
And what about like a comb and a shampoo, conditioner? Like what
Yeah,
about those
those are
things?
the basic tools that you require. So, when it comes to tools, again, it's code specific. So I can't just give you a generic tool. If it's like if it's a smooth coated dog, you're probably going to require a soft bristle brush. If it's a rough coated dog, you're probably going to require a slicker brush as well as a pin brush. So the slicker brush will keep away all the dead hair and coat. So that
Uh-huh.
needs to be done at least once in 2 days so that the shedding is also controlled. And the pin brush is for their drying. It's not very close bristles, so it keeps it apart. So while you're drying the coat, it makes it easier and faster. Okay.
Okay.
And for a shih, let's say a long dog like a Shih Tzu, you need to have a greyhound comb, which is a comb that has teeth that are wide on one side and teeth that are narrow on one side. So your dog will first, that is important. Then you'll need to have a slicker brush again to keep away all the dirt and debris. And you'll need to have a pin brush for the drying again. So these are just the basic tools. It all
Yeah.
again depends on the intent, the amount of knots they have, or the tangling or detangling that needs to be done again. Okay.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So that's that.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I hope everybody
Mhm.
heard that. Okay, let's
Mhm.
take a couple of more questions from the audience. Shifali says, "What grooming is required after lap comes back from walk in the rain?" Okay, so if her lap comes back from the walk in the rain, and in general, if our pets are coming back from the walk, so what immediate grooming is required?
Okay. So the most essential thing is to keep your dog dry. That is the most basic and most essential thing. Rainwater can't really do much damage, but if it's not dried off after your dog has come back from the rain, it can potentially turn into bacterial or fungal infection, depending on the intensity of the rain again. So blow dry your dog or towel dry your dog. You will still need to blow dry if it's very well saturated, and keeping the paws clean is also mandatory. So basically, you can use like pet wipes to wipe the paws, or you could. I would prefer only pet wipes actually. You could wash the dog's paws, but then you'll have to dry them all over again. So just pet wipes should do, and make sure you blow dry it. That's the most essential thing.
So after using the
And if
pet
you
wipes, also we need to use the blow dry, is it?
You have to, yes, because they are pre-wet, so you need to dry it off. It's only going to take away the dirt and the mud that's stuck on the paws, but it's not going to take away the wetness. So you will have to blow dry. And if you want to be really smart, then you have to get your dog pet socks or pet shoes and then take them out for a walk so you can avoid all that washing and cleaning.
Right, right. Okay, before we move on to the next question, people who are joining us, we are talking about how to choose the right kind of pet groomer for our pets. And if you have any basic grooming related questions, also Radhya here is a certified international master groomer for all breeds. She'll be able to tell you and guide you in the right direction. We are only left with the last 10 minutes of the session, so now is the time you should definitely ask your questions. Ashna here asks how to maintain dental hygiene. So, how do we
Okay.
do that with our pets?
Okay. So typically, if I don't know the age of your dog, so it all depends on the age. Now, if you have a puppy, you can start maintaining it by just giving them Dentastics or chews. Now, this is applicable to any dog that's over 2, 3 months of age and up to about 3, 4 years. Okay. Now, if you already have an older dog that has tartar in its mouth, you can opt for the teeth brushing. You can do it at home, but it's preferred to use a silicone brush rather than using a brush with bristles. Okay, because your dog's gums will be more sensitive, so a silicone brush will be more like a massage. It's not going to remove all the plaque or tartar, but it'll do a lot of work. It will make your teeth, the doggy's teeth, bright, and there are denta pastes available for dogs in specific. Okay. Now, apart from that, I do believe dental chews work a lot. So
Okay.
again, depending on the age of the dog, you can go in for a harder chew or a softer chew, depending on the age of your dog.
His
If it's a dog,
the
yeah,
dog's age is 1 year old, is what she writes.
1 year old. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, then no problem. I think just dental chews should do. It's not an issue. Yeah, you can. It'll be like a treat for your dog. So they'll keep chewing on it while the plaque and the tartar keeps getting caught, and it's not a problem once that happens.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. We have Ajay asking, what's the best way to wash the face of a pug who is itchy on the face? I wanted to apply a ketoconazole shampoo on the face, but I'm afraid it can go in the eyes. No
Okay,
way.
so no using, no using medicated anything on the face unless it's with a professional, and definitely not a ketoconazole shampoo. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, see, with pugs, they have a lot of debris that gets stuck between their folds. Okay,
Mhm.
now this can be only maintained if they use a general antibiotic or antiseptic solution to clean that area, and they have to follow it up with drying that area, and they have to also follow it up by keeping some antiseptic powder. Okay, now when he's mentioning the face, it's predominantly the fold because that's where they start smelling from the maximum. Okay, now in general for the face, if it has an issue, it's preferred you use anything that's safe enough for a puppy and which is more herbal or more nature based, okay,
Okay.
than a medicated base, because a medicated base will have exfoliation. So basically exfoliating the skin, so you're actually increasing the sensitivity of the skin as you're using these medicated products, and
Mhm.
there is only a period of time you can use any medicated product on a generalized part of the body, but definitely not the face. Your dog can become blind. Okay,
Okay. All
so
right.
get him let him go and check it at the vet or at a groomer who is aware of dog skin analogy, and let them give them the best advice and then follow it the right way.
Okay, great. Okay, so Ajay, I hope you heard that. Please don't try that at home. Definitely visit a vet or a groomer for that. Talking about shampoos specifically, like, we as humans, we are also shifting a lot towards, organic, natural shampoos and natural products, and especially that the paraben and sulfate free shampoos. So, what is your take on that as a professional groomer? What do you prefer when it comes to grooming, professionally, whether they're nature based, paraben sulfate free products, or whether medicated shampoos? What are the ones that you use, and what do you suggest to our audience who are watching you right
Okay. So, I'm not against either or. I'm not
now?
for either. I mean, I'm for either or. It doesn't really matter, provided the dog eventually gets cured of whatever skin problem they have. Okay.
Right.
But there are repercussions to using a medicated based shampoo and a natural based shampoo. Now, with the natural based shampoo, it is not 100% natural. They will be using some chemical to keep the balance between the ingredients that they use.
Okay.
Otherwise, your shampoo would pretty much not work after some time, or they would just be dud. So so people fail to mention that, but it's true. Okay. And with medicated based shampoos, they are meant to target a specific problem, and they're meant
Mm-hmm.
to do it more effectively. Sometimes that effectiveness can result in burning sensation or some rapid kind of exfoliation. So
Okay.
I don't believe a person should use any medicated method or anything unless they are 100% sure of what's going on with the pet. And again, I
Okay.
would leave that to a professional to deal with. Okay, because
Okay.
a lot of times when we try to do this at home, you end up using a little too much product or too less product and too often and not that often. So you don't have
Mm-hmm.
your right timeline for it to get cured. Now, on the other hand, your botanical based products and your natural based products, they all can do their work as well. Okay.
Right.
But of course, some of them will take time. So if you want rapid results, it probably is not going to happen instantaneously, not as well as the medicated shampoo. But then I'm not, again, I'm not saying not against any of them, provided
Okay.
it's used responsibly by a professional who knows what they're doing, or at least somebody should guide the owner of how
Okay.
to use the product that they have in the right manner.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Makes sense, right?
So
Makes
yeah.
sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, we're almost at the end of the session, and I have a very important question to you before we wrap up the session for today. And people, we're left with 5 minutes of the time now. So, this is the last chance to ask any question that you have from Radhya. Meanwhile, I just want you to shed some light on the different grooming packages that are offered by groomers across the country, across the cities. And I like, as pet parents, we've come across different kind of grooming packages when we take our pets for grooming, whether it's like a normal bathing and grooming package, or it's an entire tick and flea treatment, and so on and so forth. So can you name like some of the few popular and much needed grooming packages that we should definitely opt for our pets? One, this. Secondly, can you also tell us how, and what are the factors that should make us select a particular package? So if there is some particular observation regarding our skin, or our pet skin, or anything that we have made, and accordingly we can select that package. So that. And three, how many times in a month, or in say a quarter, like in say 3-4 months, should we opt these different packages for? I hope
Okay.
you understood my question.
I hope I got what you said. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. Now I can't speak for everyone in the country, but
Right.
all the other groomers. I'm pretty sure that they've been very, very, I don't know how to say, I don't know. They've been very open to designing their own packages depending on what kind of dog that comes in for grooming. They have standard packages, they have select packages.
Yes.
Now, I can only
Yes.
talk to you about what I offer. So
Hmm.
basically, we do a basic hygiene maintenance. So the basic hygiene maintenance construes whatever is required for that pet. Now, I don't give a generalized package to all dogs. It's just a generalized method because I still analyze skin and coat for each dog that comes in. All
Okay.
right. So everything becomes a coat specific treatment for
Okay.
each pet. So that's important. So we do that as a general one. And then, of course, we have the tick and flea and mite package for dogs as well. But add this into our general grooming. So a person does not need to hold a particular requirement because it's all taken care of with that one session. Now,
Okay.
yes, predominantly in the monsoon and during the summer and monsoon, actually, you'll see a lot of ticks and fleas on your dogs.
Right.
But
Right.
the treatments are given not just through the groomer, it is also a post treatment that is involved. So the owner has to be aware that everything won't disappear in one shot or one sitting. The owner has to be aware that they have to follow the routine and they have to follow the post treatment for the dogs or the pets to be safe. Okay,
Hmm.
so we have that. Apart from that, we also have packages for skin, so dermatological problems. So we
Yes.
do the skin sessions. Again, it's analogy of the skin and,
Right.
doing the package according to that. And of course, we have our frequency in that because the person might need to, visit us a little more often or a little less often, depending on the healing process of the skin. So that's one thing. And yeah, we do have these special packages for birthdays and stuff with their dog gets a little extra spa
Yeah.
massage and stuff. I
Uh,
mean, sometimes people want to ask me, is my dog really stressed? So I'm like, I don't know. Are they earning for your rent this month? So I'm not sure. But I do know, you know,
yeah.
it helps with the circulation of the blood for the dog. I don't believe a dog's muscles need to be relaxed. So when somebody goes like deep tissue massage for dogs, I'm like, why does it have to be? Because the dog's muscles
Okay.
have to be strong. It can't be
Strong.
completely relaxed. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's important for their activity. So yeah, so this spa package for the birthdays would just probably be, adding an essential oil massage for the dog just to feel a little more pampered, a little coloring for the dog if it's required, all vegetable based coloring, a little accessorizing. So those are the special packages that we offer as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So these
Okay.
are the most general packages I would assume people offer as well.
Right. Makes sense. Okay, so we'll just take the last two questions from the audience now, and then we'll close the session. And this actually question by Priyanka is very relevant because what about grooming for pets whose skin is very sensitive. So she writes here that my 2-year-old pit bull has very sensitive skin and generally reacts to most of the shampoos. Hence, we end up washing him once a month or so with just water and he remains clean. Is there anything you would suggest so that he can also smell good?
Okay. Priyanka will have to do a little research because one thing is, if your dog is generally reacting to shampoo, you need to find out whether your dog is reacting to the detergent-based shampoos or any particular ingredient in the shampoo. I know it's going to take a while for her to get that. It's going to take a while. So she can probably have his skin analyzed because skin sensitivity happens because of many methods. Like I told you, it's because of either over grooming your dog, is because of grooming your dog with the wrong products. It could be because of allergies. It could be because of food allergies. So there will be some shampoo that she'd be able to use because if a
Right,
dog can't have a shampoo used on them, there is no possibility for a deodorant being used on them so that he can smell good.
right,
Okay. You
right.
can't use a doggy deodorant, although they're made very safe and completely hypoallergenic. It shouldn't affect him, but even if when whatever shampoo she's tried, I don't know if she's tried a hypoallergenic shampoo. So maybe she can try a hypoallergenic shampoo. Yeah. But always, always get it checked one time before she does anything. So it's probably either, like I said, someone who knows dog dermatology or a professional groomer who knows this or a vet who knows this. They'd be able to suggest the right thing.
All right. And
Mhm.
Seema here asks, what care should we take for my 1-year-old Pomeranian after she comes back from a walk, especially during this COVID-19? So, can you just tell us what can we do?
Okay. So, whatever you expose your pet to, it's not likely that they're going to get the infection, but it's possible that, I don't want to be mean or say this because you don't know where they're first touching against or who sneezed there last, right? So, it's preferred if she can make sure that her dog walks only on a pavement away from grass or away from trees or any kind of object in the way. And if she is concerned about keeping it clean when the baby comes back, her doggy comes back, just generally wipe her dog with a pet wipe and dry it up. If she's very concerned about, the dog catching any problem, it is not likely that is to happen. It's only if the dog is brushing against things that she might have to think about it. Or she can put on some doggy shoes and then take it for a walk. That's a
Okay, great.
possibility too.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So, with
Mhm.
this, we reach the end of the session, Radhya. I hope you had a wonderful time answering all the questions. And,
I did the
the
same.
people, yes, and the people who joined us and who asked their questions, I hope they were answered properly. And we apologize for any internet connectivity issues from both our ends. And, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you so much, Radhya, for joining us. And your insights were really, really helpful for us. And, we'll definitely, it'll be better for our pets in the future. To the ones who missed it, and to the ones whose questions were left unanswered or anything, they were all answered in some way or the other. So you can definitely check out this entire video in the video section of our Facebook and YouTube channels. And, most of your questions were answered there. So you can definitely go through the video again. Thank you so much, Radhya, for joining us once again.
Thank you, Samia, for being so patient, and I hope all your questions were answered too.
Yes, they were. They were.
All right.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. All right. See you. Bye.